Hello, viewers. I'm Kathleen Roy, and I am back with another video of an inspirational woman. This is one of my best friends. Her name is Stacy Newton.
Hi.
I'm so happy that she could be here with us. She has so many exciting things to share with you. Her journey has been amazing, and I got to say that, Stacy, you were the reason I started this YouTube channel.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That just really means a great deal to me. Just a great deal. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, because Stacy, she's been through so much, but she's accomplished so much at the same time. So I got the idea just from talking to Stacy one day, and it just came to me that I wanted to promote inspirational women. And it's been trending lately, not just with me, but you see this frequently.
Yes, that's very true.
Yes.
True.
And right now women are getting more recognition for things they're doing, and all I can say it's...
And the journey it takes to get there.
Yes.
You know, the stories that we get a chance to share because of people like Kathleen, women like Kathleen, who allow us to tell our story.
Thank you. Thank you. I love Stacy. I was so happy that she was able to join me for this. And let me tell you how I met her, which was just a couple of years ago. We met at a little downtown cafe.
Yes.
I didn't know her at all, but a friend of ours, we have a mutual friend,
Amir.
Hi, Amir, you're going to see this. And he was in a class with Stacy.
Yes.
And he was having a gathering because he was moving back home to his home country of Malaysia. So Stacy and I met.
And we sat next to each other and just really connected very well with each other.
Yes. In fact, their teacher, who is also my teacher at NIFA, said that we are sisters from another mother. And it's true. It's true.
Yes.
So I met Stacy, we connected, and I would just like for Stacy to tell you a little bit about her journey from her home state to LA to start with.
Yes, well, I'm originally from Houston, and now my parents live in Dallas. So now when I go back to Texas, I go to Dallas. But originally, I was in Houston. I was a Montessori pre-K teacher. I was teaching for years. And I sent my writing in to James Franco. And
Big name.
yes, and I didn't expect to hear anything back. And the very next day, I received an email. He liked my writing and invited me to a premiere. So I met him, and I thought, however this is possible, I don't know, but this is where I need to be in my life. And I met one of my really good friends, Jeff, which now I do a lot of filming with. And that's where I met pretty much everyone from the studio, because I didn't know anyone. And so then I started getting invited to more events, and I would just fly up on the weekends. I would teach during the week, and then I really decided to make the move here. So after a year, put my house on the market after 10 years, and it sold in 3 days.
That's amazing.
So I knew this is a sign, this has to be. And then one of James's friends, who's also a writer, I did some mentoring with him, and he told me if I was really serious about doing this, I needed to think about doing some more acting, more writing. So I sold my condo and put in my 2-week notice. And I met my furniture on the 1st of February on a Monday in my new apartment in West Hollywood.
Wow.
And it went really fast. And so my first feature film I did was a James Franco film. And then I did another one. He'd asked for another headshot. So I did another one in Los Angeles called, the first one was In Dubious Battle. And then The Institute. And while we were filming The Institute, I was getting a lot of pain in my left face, which I thought was from sinus infection from the climate change. So then I saw some doctors. They said I didn't have any sinus issues. So then I was sent to a specialist who I ran a lot of tests. It wasn't cancer. They didn't know what it was. And then I was diagnosed with just some kind of bone infection. They didn't really know how I got it. It was just very rare. So they told me it was going to be very invasive. So I decided that I would go home to have my surgeries or whatever I was going to need. And because I felt like I didn't really have anyone here in LA to help me, it was going to be a long process. So I started going back and forth for a while I was able, and I would go home, I'd have my surgeries, I'd fly back up, I'd do my work, I'd do my filming, and then I got to the point where I was unable to fly for quite a time. And each surgery, I guess, was about 4 months recovery. But during that 4-month recovery, I sometimes were still having procedures done. So I was in a great deal of pain. And I decided while I was in Texas and unable to kind of work, I was going crazy. I felt like I needed to do something. So I thought I should really write my book, Angels Survive. And so I started the process of writing it. And a lot of the filming that I had started, I had to finish. So when my doctor released me, I would come back to LA, even though I was still on a lot of pain medication. And at one point, I had my lip literally sewn to my gum area.
That sounds awful.
It was very bad.
Oh.
And of course, I still had to smile. I was promoting this movie. I was working on Fate's Shadow with Michelle Author, doing story editing. Jeff Vernon, I was working with him on Crazy Lucky. And it was really a crazy time.
But this is what impressed me so much. When I thought about Stacy, I thought about positivity. And I knew what she was going through, but I've since learned how much more serious it actually was than she let on. And she kept smiling. She seemed so happy, and she would fly back and forth, and I would see her here in LA, and we would meet for dinner.
And it goes.
Yes, and she would be just so excited and like, oh, I'm so glad to be back in LA, and I'm going to do this and that. And yet she was in incredible pain and suffering, but didn't let it show, didn't let it affect her work.
Well, I realized going through all this, it was almost like having a rebirth, and I felt like I woke up from all of this, and finally I heard it was finished. It's a disease that I have, so it's something that I will have forever, that will need to be monitored, but I have no infection, and I'm not in any pain. So it just needs to be monitored, like if you are diabetic or something like that. So unfortunately, it is a disease. But I felt like my diagnosis for myself was to just keep going. I needed to continue no matter how much in pain I was, because I worked so hard to get to where I am right now, that I thought I can't just roll over and let something like this take over my life. I can remember my parents are like, you mean you're filming? You're going where? Does your surgeon know this is what you're doing? And I'm like, well, that I'll film in a wheelchair. I'll do whatever it takes, because I feel like if you really have that dream and you're determined, nothing can crush it. You have that passion, you have to continue to see the full picture, and it doesn't matter what's ever happened in your life, or, we're not promised for tomorrow. So we have to live each day like it's our last, and that's what I just decided to do. I came back from a 4-day trip to the UK, and
she was on a book tour.
Yes,
all
and
over
all
Europe and Iceland. I mean,
and then
she's just
I've
amazing.
started, oh, thank you. You're amazing too. And then I started my book signing in Texas, and then I just had one in Los Angeles, and I have more to come. And I just decided, you have to continue to live. You just pick up from wherever you are, and you just keep moving. You just have to keep moving.
Well, she does keep moving. And I'm so excited to see Stacy, because it's been a while. We keep in touch. And that's the remarkable thing about Stacy, is she's maintained all of her contacts in LA. She's been able to keep doing projects. And let me ask you a question, Stacy.
Please.
Do you think Angels Survive would have happened if you were not laid up with this condition?
No, I think that's what really motivated me, was working through my pain, because through all my editing, I wasn't consumed, or I wasn't aware that I was in so much pain. It really took my mind off, because I was just really focused on what I was doing. And so I'm just very blessed and very grateful of all the connections and beautiful people I met, like you, which you are my dear friend, my best friend now. Just to be able to have accomplished not just my film work, but my book. So
how can people get your book? How do they find it?
I'm available at Barnes and Noble, at Studio City, and in Texas. And you can also buy my book on Litfire Publishing bookstore. Yes.
Great.
Yep.
And what about your next project?
Oh yes, I'm working. I'm working with Damien Dante and Jeffrey Swanson, and I'm going to start writing a series of books on Jezebeth, which is on their main character vampire series that will be finished December 18th. December 2018. So yeah, it's my next big thing that I'm working on.
That is awesome.
Yes.
And aren't you working on another film?
I started a table read yesterday. Yes, I will be in Idle Time, which we'll be filming that in the fall, and then Fate's Shadow will be filming that in the fall. So yes, I'm staying very busy with a lot of my films. Yes.
And do you have a plan to move back to LA?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yes.
I'd already like to say I'm already here.
Well, you've been here in my spirit, but physically,
Yes.
It's been every few months I've been able to catch up with her. But when she's here, though, she's really busy.
I know.
Super busy.
I know. I have to squeeze so much
Yes.
into a short amount of time. But I do try to make, my connections that it goes to.
She loves this restaurant. So
I have my
if
own
you're a
table.
fan of Ago, the restaurant that Robert De Niro
Shout out to
owns.
Abel. He's the best manager.
Oh, that's so nice of you. And do you have an Instagram that you'd like to
Oh yes, you
tell
can follow
people
me
about?
on Instagram. I'm a SK Yo Writer, and on Facebook, Stacy Newton.
Okay,
This is my
good.
regular
Great,
name.
great.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Stacy.
Well, thank you so
I
much.
want to hug you
Thank you
because
so much for inviting me to do this interview. I appreciate it. I love you.
you've been just a wonderful friend, and your inspiration keeps me going when I have small issues that involve pain. I think, suck it up. Look what Stacy can do. If Stacy can do
I
it,
appreciate that. Thank you.
anybody can suck it up. And I know it hasn't been easy, but
No,
look at how far you've come.
I
and
appreciate
You're
that.
going to
Thank
continue
you.
to go far.
I'm going to keep moving. No stopping.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everybody.